Arguably, the most important part of this game is gear. I definitely speak from experience that I did not take gear seriously enough when I started, and as I've started playing more and more, because I do this for a lot of my time. I really enjoy this game. I've started to kind of recognize the importance, and a large part of that, not just progressing in gear rates, is speeding up your gear rate runs, so that when you farm, you're able to farm more, you're able to farm faster, and you're able to progress faster. So I figured that for a pretty fun video idea would be I just kind of go over how to speed clear every single gear raid. The ones that I think are the most relevant are Gear Raid 1. Gear Raid 2 is pretty relevant, and I mean Gear Raid 3 has some important stuff to go over, and I figure we go over that today. Some things I do have to just like say ahead of time is all of these runs will be on 21. For Gear Raid 2, I will do stage 20, not because it makes a gear difference, but purely because my Gear Raid 20 auto fight I can't really seem to override because the game doesn't want to work. So I can't really show off the time there. Um, and then also you really need to have Pod on, Power of Dominance. Those 30% extra stats are very, very important. And obviously, I will have decent gear and decent characters. So if you don't have those characters, don't worry. If you're on a lower stage, this will only be applicable for 19, 20, 21. If you're earlier than that, stage 18 and below, you should not be trying to speedrun your gear farming. You should just be trying to progress. That's besides the point. So whatever. Anyways, so I'm going to just kind of go in, tell you how to do it, use the characters I have, tell you some characters you can use, and stuff like that. But anyways, let's get into it. So this is the team that I will be using. I really wish I had Comet so that I wouldn't have to abuse Boreas, but alas, it's what I have. Vierna does not cut it for damage for these speedruns. So you do ideally want Comet, Boreas, stuff like that, or you want a lot of DPS. I know Ardea is very good, stuff like that. But I will be using Boreas. I won't be using Venoma just to keep it more friendly, or at least as friendly as I can for, speedrunning content. You do kind of need overpowered heroes. But the main core of this team is you need your damage boosters, so Dolores and Autumn. Dolores will be an Invig. You only really need two people in Invig, but I have four. But Laurel, Hollow, Dolores, and Autumn are in Invig. You only need two. Autumn, I would recommend putting on a Tumultuous Horn. Uh, the higher level, the better, but it doesn't really matter. Laurel's gear does not matter at all. She's just there for rage. Same with Hollow, and then you really need some strong AoE DPS. So I would highly recommend Comet or Boreas. Here, let me put on good gear. If your gear is not this good, don't feel bad for your artifacts. That's a-okay. I would recommend a Lord with your AoE damage. I will be using Vierna as secondary AoE, just cause. And then the other part of this team is single target damage. So I have Lunaria to buff the power, but Silas will be there to destroy the boss, and Hex will be there for a little bit of extra boss damage. I am able to do this with just Hex and Arrogance, and I'll explain it once we get into the fight. But this is the team that I would recommend if you can do it. Just keep in mind that even if your damage is not as high as mine, you can still get it done pretty well. Just tweak the strategy for how you can do it. This is more of a showcase on how to do it, not me saying these are the units you need. If you do not have these units, you can't do it. Anyways, I like to put AoE DPS and then Dolores so she can build up her rage. And then I put down the single target, which will be Silas here, and then just kind of leave him there to build up his own rage. I will be popping Hollow pretty fast so that we get Dolores a bit earlier, and then I will be popping the DPS ults. Boreas should be able to clear these guys pretty fast. I'll put Hex over here for some extra damage. When he does another AoE hit, I will trigger Silas. As soon as Autumn goes out, I generally will pull her and then put down Laurel just so that we can get Dolores ult. Also, Dolores did not proc, so that sucks a little bit. We're missing out on a little bit of damage, but it's not a big deal. As you can see, the boss is already basically dead, but we can keep triggering it. Something to keep in mind is you do not actually need to nuke the boss down as fast as I am. as long as you get it down before the last wave comes out, and I'll explain why in a second. Um, Another thing to note is the boss just healed up. If you can somehow make it so that the boss doesn't put out his heals on himself, then you will have a much easier time. Just to keep that in mind. So yeah. Also, whatever you have, just put on your best gear to try to do it. Because of pod, your gear requirement is not as high, but whatever. We cleared it pretty easily. Here we go. And now you just kind of put everything down and you're trying to clear the waves as fast as possible. Just kind of like a normal run. I mean, after the boss is dead, it's like a normal run if the normal run was far easier than it usually is. Because you can't really do this without pod. When I say pod, I mean power of dominance, by the way. If you don't have it, you can't really do this, but luckily, since we are trying to speedrun, stuff like that doesn't really matter too much. Here we're gonna trigger this. This is the last wave right here. These kind of AoE guys. So you are trying to basically kill them as fast as possible. Obviously this wave too. But the second these guys come out, if you are able to kill everything on the screen, the stage will end. So just keep that in mind. I sold Boreas like an idiot. That sucks. I might need to redo this. So I'm back where I was before. This time I won't sell Boreas like an idiot. It might be slightly faster, but my timing was pretty much exactly the same. I don't think it really made that big of a difference, or at least not a big enough difference for it to matter. I'm just gonna trigger this all, pop that, Boreas all, then I'm gonna put down more damage on the side just for a little bit of extra damage. Raiden's gonna die instantly, but I feel like putting him there. And now here we're just gonna clear it really fast, and this should be a good time. We're aiming for under 4 minutes if we can, which is pretty impressive considering before I started doing it this way, my damage was like, I mean, my time was like 5 minutes or something. It doesn't show. It's strange. So this should be about 3 minutes and 50 something seconds. It should be showing the time, but it's not, which really bothers me, but not much I could do about it. But it's okay. Anyways, Boreas did most of the damage, obviously, because he's the main DPS, and that's how you speed clear that stage. That should be a little under 4 minutes. If you have like a Deegs account, then you will be able to get like 3 minutes and 20, 3 minutes 30 seconds on Gear Aid 1, which is kind of absurd, but whatever. Now let's go to Gear Aid 2. I'm going to do 20 just because it's a little hard to beat my auto on the other one. For this, Boreas obviously is really broken, but I'm going to try not to use him. There are 2 ways to do this, well, 3 ways. Number 1 is you use Praetus or Pelagios. My Pelagios doesn't really work because he is not strong enough, so I'm not going to use him. And also, most people don't have Praetus or Pelagios or either, so I'm not going to use him. Another thing is Sadie strats, which I cannot do because mine is not skilled very well. I really need, well, I guess I don't really need her skilled up more. She will probably be fine. I just don't feel like doing Sadie strats right now. I will have a Gear Aid 2 full video out soon. It should be like half an hour long at least, where I go over every strategy, like A1 Volca, Sadie, some things you guys probably have never heard of, stuff like that. But whatever. Anyways, so the team I will be assembling for this is, well, first of all, let's go over the essentials. So Volca A1 is essential for this, unless you use Sadie strats, stuff like that, or some of the other strats, which I will go over in a video I do later. But this is the main thing. You need a healer like Vortex, ideally Vortex. You need Dolores for damage for trying to speedrun. You need Laurel. Ideally, you'd use Autumn, but I don't think we need Autumn. And then you need an AoE mage. Ideally, we will use Vierna. I think Vierna will work fine. We'll put some decent gear on her, because whatever. It'll help a lot. If I'm not using a tier Twilight, I need better gear. I shouldn't have clicked out, but it's fine. You need Silas, because he does the most damage to the boss. Silas, Nocturne, stuff like that are for basically things that have defense penetration or true damage are probably going to be the best damage. Also, Hatset's really good for wave clearing, but I'm not going to use her because I know most people don't have her. And then another essential thing is you need 2 unyielding units. So I will be using Baron over here, and I will be using Decimus. And then I like to bring a cost regen like Narvi just to make it a little bit easier on myself. And then ideally we would bring another DPS. Something you could bring as well is Valeria. I really like Valeria for the stage. She's really, really good. I will bring her just because she does absurd boss damage, and I really like her boss damage, just to be completely honest. I think she's really worth using. But anyways, so this is the team I will assemble. The main things to note are you just want a lot of damage. Damage is obviously key for speedrunning these things. Damage is the main thing, so keep that in mind. To start off though, I will do Silas, Narvi, and then as soon as we get enough cost, we are going to sell, and then we're going to trigger everything. Okay? That's very important that you do it like that. Silas is cheaper, that's why I like using him, but you could use anything. I could have used Valeria, I could have used anything else. Also, you want to wait like about a second, maybe 2 seconds to give the auto some space. What that means is just the auto fights in this game are really all over the place and kind of incorrect sometimes. So you want to kind of try to minimize the RNG if you possibly can. Um, but it is kind of hard. So I get if it's a little bit difficult. Anyways, right here you wait for 3 hits from the boss. You wait a little bit longer because you're using Decimus. His timing is a bit weird. Then I put Vortex right after the boss is done hitting, and then I pull Decimus as soon as they get hit, and then I will be putting Baron. You gotta make sure that they are both either running or the top guy gets shot up, if that makes any sense, like he did right there, so that you will be okay. Then we will be putting Vierna like this. I don't even think I really need Dolores or Laurel for this. I think it would be fine otherwise, but I'm gonna just do it like this, just to kind of show. But you do that. You wait until around here for Dolores Assault, just because it'll last the whole time. And as soon as these guys get in her range, Vienna's range, we're gonna trigger it, kill them. Obviously, the execute will kill them if you don't do an absurd amount of damage like I do. And then we pull everything, and then everything's good. Now we just kind of wait a little bit longer. It should be pretty good. Valeria is going to do great boss damage here after the first shriek he does. Um, well, I guess it's the second shriek he does, but whatever. After this shriek, you could just put everyone down whenever. I mean, by everyone, I mean your unyielding units, and then when they get hit by 2 runners, you can pull everyone. I will be putting down Narvi like this, and then I will be putting down Volka. You don't need them built with HP because they will only take 80% of their max damage because the runners take percentage, they don't deal flat damage. Also, you really need to place your Vortex first before anything else, or they will die. Or anything else will die, I mean. And then here, I like to do it like this. I like to do Silas, followed by, or whatever single target you're using. Then I ult, he's going to kill these 4 guys, and I'm immediately going to pull him back. And then I will be using Vierna pretty soon after. Here we're going to deal enough damage, hopefully, and then I can pull him pretty fast. It's pretty important that you're able to pull him very fast. Here we go. And then I should have put Vierna here earlier, but I didn't, because I'm kind of dumb. But luckily she gets her ult pretty fast, and hopefully we will be okay. If we're not, I will have to emergency use something. Because I have her built really well, I will be fine. If she's not built as well as mine, you could just Dolores ult. You could bring an Autumn instead of Valeria. Your boss will be a little bit slower, but I think it's a worthy trade-off. But yeah. Let's just keep going here. Let's wait for the ult, and then we kill everything. And then we pull everything. The timing on the pulling does not matter too much. Keep that in mind. Hopefully Silas will be up pretty soon for the boss. He will still be a little while. Here we wait for 2 hits. 1, 2. Then we place our unyieldings, and then we're good. Here let's wait a little bit. When he gets hit, we sell him. Then we can sell this guy too. Then we're gonna place kind of everything as soon as you can. Let's just place Narvi here. Let's place Volca over here. And then we can place Laurel pretty soon as well. They are going to die over here. It's not a bad thing. Boom. We're going to place Valeria, Laurel, Silas. I should have given Silas the invig, but it's fine. We are going to trigger everything. And I should have... whatever. It's fine. But anyways, so we're going to kill everything really fast. And then that's that. If you don't have Valeria, just place Decimus there. And if you don't have Silas, just use like Nocturne or something. And it will be okay. But that's how you do the fastest clear. 3 minutes 46 seconds is really good considering the boss comes out at 3 minutes 40. The fastest clear you can get is like 3 minutes 35 if you instantly kill the boss with Praetus or Pelagius, but whatever. Anyways, this is the damage stats. Pretty expected for Silas to do a lot of damage, and Vierna, because she was the main wave clearer. Obviously, if you could just use more DPS if your DPS isn't cutting it. You could use Maul as well, whatever. Just figure it out with how your account is operating, and you'll get it down. Anyways, let's do Gear 3 really quickly, and then we can end off the video. Anyways, so Gear 3, this is the team that I will be using. I will not be Silas ulting. I do have to preface that. I will not be using a Silas ult. The main things to note are you want to build Idril fairly well, because she is her best. She is the main DPS. You need a Piercer Lord to do it this way, to do it the fastest way, or you need Setram. Because Setram has extra range, and I will show you that in a second. Like why you need that in a second, but whatever. It's fine. Let's get into it pretty fast. Pelagius will be for the left side, Maul for the right side. I'll show you how. Arrogance is there for a little bit of extra boss damage to kill it quicker, since I will not be Silas assaulting, just to make it a bit more accurate for the people who don't have him. And then you just bring like some DPS, some damage boosters, stuff like that. Here we put Idril first, then we put Dolores. Idril will be our main DPS. And then we'll put Silas right here as soon as he's up. If you have Setram, you can place them instead. Or you could remove something like Arrogance you don't actually really need. So you could take Arrogance out and instead put Setram. Instead put a cost regen or a cost gen. And then you might get your Setram out in time. Or maybe you could use Laurel here immediately so that you could ult everything really fast with Idril. Whatever. You'll figure it out. But anyways, so we're going to do it this way. We're going to pop Hollow ult. And then we're just going to kill everything. Silas should be able to deal ridiculous amounts of damage. So is Idril. We're going to wait a little bit. I'm going to wait until this guy attacks one more time. And then we're going to place Pelagios down. Just because Pelagios is at risk of dying to the boss. You do need to be careful about that. If I ulted with Silas, the boss would have been dead already. Just a heads up there. I will be triggering Dolores ult, waiting for Laurel to get smacked. Booty clapped, I guess you could say. I don't know why I said that. But you get the idea. We're gonna kill that thing. As long as that thing dies, then you could put Maul on the side. Try to time it out so they don't die to the boss. He should have enough HP. And then I'll put Lunaria down just so that Lunaria gets targeted instead of Maul, so that we keep on going. But let's just keep going here. Maul hopefully will deal with the right side fairly well. And hopefully we'll not have that many issues. Here, I feel like I probably should Dolores ult. I will Laurel. You know how it goes. I'll just Silas ult now, I think, because ideally you would have had killed the boss already. So I think it's fine to do so. And yeah. And then after you kill the boss, you want to sell your damager, and then try to deal with the right side in a way that I will show in a second. So Volca A1 is very important because we will need our single target up very soon. As soon as I should have done it a bit earlier, but ideally we would have had Silas already. We put him down already. He would have built up his ult, and then he would have instantly bursted the guys that were gonna come up there in a second. Make sure you're also cycling these guys' ults, and keep it going. So, I do have to say, if I did ult the boss, he would have immediately had his ult here. I would have ulted, he would have killed everyone, and we would have had an easy clear. But I didn't do that, just to kind of keep it more faithful. If you have like a Setram, it might be a bit slower. But by now we would have won already. Just keep that in mind. Laurel, I probably should have sold a while ago. Whatever. Here, boom, done. You can do it a lot faster if you Silas Soul earlier because you placed them earlier because you altered the boss. So keep that in mind. I just don't want to make anyone upset. But that is the fastest way to clear that. This stage is kind of the hardest one to clear very fast. And that's just kind of how it goes. Though, I do have to say that this one's pretty simple. You just gotta kill the left side and the right side at the end as soon as you can. And to do that the best way, you do need to kill the boss very fast. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So just to recap, Gear 1, you can kill the boss really early, and then you do not need to deal with the hassles of the stage, and that is ideal. And then if you go to Gear 2, if you DPS it all, and then you save some of your really strong units for the end, you could ult the boss down very fast. But you do have to be very wary about the waves in between. So that's my advice. And then for Gear 3, you just gotta kill everything as fast as you can, and that's it. But I think that's about it for this video. I hope this helps someone. I know I do use strong units, but I hope that the framework is there for you guys to build off of. So if you're interested in clearing a little bit faster, yeah, I hope this helps. But anyways, that's about it for me. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, that's about it for me.